technology thing, this ain't what we do, right? So every time we do it, it's like the first time. I still gotta ask questions like, how the phone work again? Right. Okay. Hey, baby. Hey, my love. Hey, everyone. Welcome. I'm Monique.
And I am Sydney.
And this is Monique and Sydney's Open Relationship. How's everybody feeling today? Like, how's everybody feeling?
How are you feeling?
I feel amazing, Daddy. How you feeling?
Super fantastic.
Yes. And I'm excited about the conversation today, about the topic. How you feel? You excited about it?
I feel good about it.
Okay, well, we're going to share it.
Tell them.
Okay, I'm going to tell them. Right. Okay, so this is a conversation we were having earlier, and we want to know what y'all think. Are you receptive to love and kindness? Or
are you suspicious of it?
Like, are you open? Well, let's go to it. Okay. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, Auntie Monique, Uncle Sid, what's going on?
What's happening?
Hey, baby.
How y'all doing?
Wonderful. How you doing?
Listen, I'm navigating through this corona pandemic.
Okay.
It's a thing. But to answer your question, I believe it all goes back to the way in which you were loved, right? Mm-hmm. So if you were loved in a conditional way, I think that sometimes we internalize those conditional love languages and we say, okay, well, this is how I'm going to love. It's like something in which we project onto others as well. So for me, for example, it seemed like I was loved, but loved conditionally, right? Mm-hmm. And I said to myself, as I got older, I'm like, this is not healthy, right? But the person who was loving me loved me the way in which they knew how. But as I got older, I understood that that's not the way in which I want to be loved. That's not the way in which I want to show love, right? So navigating through my friendships and relationships, I try to be intentional with loving unconditionally. And I also try to be intentional with receiving it as well, right? Receiving it as well. And not necessarily judging or being overly critical over the way that somebody is loving me. Because sometimes that's all they know, right? And having the conversations, of course, being vulnerable and open enough to have the open and honest conversation saying, hey, well, did you consider this, or did you consider that maybe I didn't like when you said, or I didn't necessarily feel comfortable when you did? Having those open and honest conversations to create an authentic relationship, to create an authentic bond, I think that that's imperative and definitely conducive right now in this situation that we are all facing with this corona pandemic. It's illuminating to me a lot of my friendships and understanding how I prioritize friendships, how I value friendships, and also acknowledging the part that I play. Acknowledging the part that I play. Am I reaching out? Am I calling? Am I checking in on people? Hey, you got everything good? You need some water? I don't got much, but the little bit I have, I can share. You know what I'm saying? So holding yourself accountable too. So that's basically my response. But yeah, how y'all doing though? How y'all navigating through all of this?
We doing super fantastic, my brother. Thank you for asking and appreciate your response, my man.
Love you, honey.
Absolutely. I love y'all. Y'all be safe out there.
Okay, baby. Come on, y'all. We're going to have this conversation today. Are you receptive to love and kindness?
Or are you suspicious of it? One of the folks we just saw, I missed their handle. They said that they were suspicious of love and kindness due to their upbringing. Mm-hmm. And as he was just saying, due to his upbringing, mm-hmm. he felt that, he was loved conditionally. So he wanted to be able to love and receive that love in an unconditional manner. So it kind of speaks to a lot has to do with the way we were brought up. That determines how at least we perceive how we're going to deal with things moving forward.
Well, let's go to it. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hey, LT, hey, it's Maurice, it's Mo.
Hey, Maurice.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, this is a great topic you guys have brought up, man. I was really thinking about that long and hard a couple of days ago, as far as people accepting love and being skeptical of it.
Talk to us.
So, what I would say upon that is it all the upbringing that a person has come from, as far as like they, was raised in an environment, and that might be the reason of why they always have their guards up as far as accepting love. But then at the same time, regardless of the upbringing that you came up in, whether somebody treated you bad or good, you always have to be responsible enough to know that you are worthy of love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great point, my brother. We appreciate you calling in, man.
Love you, honey. You know, I keep hearing your upbringing. And I would have to say, when I hear that, I was one of those ones where I was very guarded. I was guarded. I was open in fantasy, but guarded in reality.
Gotcha. And you know what we didn't do?
What did we do, Daddy?
Did we tell the folks how we came up with this topic?
We did not tell them how we came up with this topic. And let me just give you all a call-in number real quick, 470-282-1802. And please forgive us, because we always tell you how we came up with it. So, what? You keep looking over here, Daddy.
That's where you are.
That's right. So, we were having a conversation, right? And I forgot the post that I had put out there. And I think it may have been the workout post from yesterday. And I read the responses from time to time. And someone put in their response, "Hey Mo, I like you and all, but you calling us my love and sweetness and honey and baby, it's getting a little creepy." Right, Daddy?
Right.
Right? And I was like, huh? Like, how did terms of endearment become creepy? And it just made me say, and I don't know that person, y'all, but I do read them from time to time because y'all take the time out to make a comment. And it just made me say how they living that terms of endearment will become creepy.
Right.
So that's how we got on this conversation. It's like, are you open to love and kindness? Or does it make you say, wait a minute, let's check it, let's go to the lines. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Oh, my name is Shalana Litt. I'm calling out of Los Angeles, California.
Hey, Shalanda.
Hey.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I wanted to say that I am receptive of love and kindness, but my partner is not. She's always had some type of like suspicious to it when we first met, but she's gotten better. We've been together for about 2 years now, and my loving, as long as I'm consistent with and persistent with her and working with her, she works with me. She's kind of, she's coming around to it. So I do notice, like, I did figure it out after a while, like, well, why is she, what's the thing that's kind of, I don't know, I would say like kind of stopping us from progressing together, like just with that bond, that special bond. Makes it harder when someone doesn't want to accept it for whatever reason. once we started to get to know each other, it's like I said, it just probably been easier after we were just, hanging in there with each other and loving on each other. Yeah. But that's it, though. That's all I have to say. I appreciate you guys' show. I'm happy to see you guys.
Let me ask you something, because you sound like you're going through something right now. What's happening?
I had a hell of a day yesterday at work, and I just woke up from it. I didn't go to sleep much, but I just woke up. I took a nap, and I just woke up and I seen you guys, and that was it. I'm just getting myself together, taking time to myself, and I'm, just ran across y'all podcast right now, and decided to try to call in, and I got through, so I'm excited about that. That's really lifting me up right now.
Well, we appreciate you calling, especially after not getting any sleep and just saying
what
we were saying. So we appreciate the love.
Okay.
And we're not suspicious of it.
Yes.
All right, man.
Love you, baby.
Thank you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
I understand it being on the other. I understand it because I was hard, wasn't I? Like, wasn't it difficult?
Well, what part? What do you mean?
Like when she says, my partner is not really open to it. I think like in the beginning, I think I was so used to something gonna happen, something gonna get different, the rug gonna get pulled, something ain't gonna go right, so I'm saying it right.
Yeah, I'm just chuckling because when her mama and her daddy were individuals who were very blunt and straightforward. This is where hence the bluntness and straightforwardness will come from. But again, you can see the way someone is brought up can have an effect in the sense of you can mimic it or you can acknowledge that it's something that you need to change.
Mm.
And for a while, it was being mimicked because that was the way you got along in the Himes household. Until in us getting together and throughout our friendship, meeting with the marriage, because there are times in the marriage that it was our friendship that kept everything along the track, because we had to put down the hats of husband and wife and say, as your boy and as my girl, what would you say to me if I came to you and said, Monique was acting this way or Sydney was acting this way? How would you approach it? And that's what got us through it, because now we get a chance to rewrite the way in which we were conditioned to act. So when you say, were you hard, it was how I knew to be in watching you with others. But then when it came time for you and I to be together, in my mind, I always looked at something different that I wanted to have in a relationship when you get married. And I think the most idealistic way for that vision was to be the opposite of what I experienced and watched growing up from my parents, but what I got from my grandmother in terms of that unconditional love. However, that said, to be suspicious is a healthy thing. You sometimes you need to be suspicious or question, because to be too receptive to someone's overtures can land you in trouble. The key to everything would seem to be a level of balance.
Come on, y'all. We talking about it. Are you open to love and kindness or suspicious of it? Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hi, Auntie Monique and Mr. Sydney.
Hi, baby.
I am Kimberly Perkins. I'm calling from Florida.
Hey, Kim.
How are you?
We're wonderful, baby.
I was just tuning in, and it just captured my heart. During all of this time, for me, it has opened me up to even more love. I was always a loving person, no matter what it is I've gone through or how I was brought up. Um, I was always open to love, and it helped me to realize, that it's a lot of other people out here that is hurting and going through different things, not just because of this time, but because of personal things in their lives. And just me saying, I think just by being open, love, by me being hurt, I said I would shut myself down and just be angry and take my anger out on other people. But that doesn't do anything but just cause more damage and more hurt to people in the world. So I think that we should be recipient of love because there's other people out here that do love, but just by the just by know how to show it or express it or their guard is up because we don't know if someone has alternative some type of hidden motive, but I love and I will always continue to love and I will pray that the world accept that love regardless of what happens.
That's
And
beautiful.
I think and I'm so happy that you guys did this show. I really don't do anything like this, call in, but it captured my heart. And I said, let me call and just give my little input on it. But I love you guys. I always, followed you, Auntie Monique, if you don't mind me calling you that, all the way back to Queens of Comedy. And I just hope we could just keep this love going on. We could just keep it going on and spreading it, because we all need it.
Yes,
we need it.
Well, we love you over here.
And we appreciate that call.
Thank you, sweetness. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. Y'all know I be trying to work with it.
That's it. That's
okay?
it. But that was a beautiful call.
Yes.
Beautiful sentiment. And also, the way in which she spoke, there's a level of fearlessness that you have to be able to share your emotions in that way because you are now exposing and opening yourself up to be vulnerable. So there's a level of strength that you have to have. And this is kind of like an oxymoron. There's a level of strength that you have to have in order to expose yourself to vulnerability, in order to be loved, because there's the opportunity for you to be hurt, but you put that to the side because the greater good can outweigh the negatives, if you will.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the line, Daddy, but just really quick.
Sure.
My sweetness is be open to being loved for the ones that, and I'm reading some of the comments, and some are saying, always be suspicious of everything and everyone. I think that if you take that route, it's almost closing off to what the possibility could be of you meeting that person or persons or whomever, but you close yourself off because everybody is under suspicion. Everybody is on a watch, and I just think that's a challenging way to go.
Patrice Slater Lee says everyone doesn't deserve that though, and I'm assuming that love and openness. And in our conversations, please always know that we always apply the first rule of logic, which is there's no one rule that applies to every situation. Everything that we're talking about to some degree is based upon that moment in itself. you have to be the judge and the jury of when you are open and when you're not open. We're just suggesting that sometimes one can be closed off to the greatest opportunity of their life simply because they have a standard that they're going to be closed off to goodness, because we've seen too many episodes of Good Times. We've seen too many episodes. They was going to get out the ghetto, you married Keith, then he broke his leg.
Before that, James died.
Yeah, he's going to have a good job.
Yes.
James died. Florida, and what was his name? Mr. What?
Carl.
Carl, they was going to get married. He came up with cancer. That daggone.
But then he got cured.
He got killed, but whatever happened to him?
They went away with marriage.
They went away with marriage.
Remember?
Somebody said they went away with marriage.
Remember, Daddy, for a while, Flora wasn't there because she was with Carl.
Hey, you right.
Right, remember? And then she came back and it was never spoken of again. Like,
but that's what happened. That's what I said what happened. Right. So it's easy based upon our conditioning to say, but you have to take the time to be the captain of your own ship and decide when you're going to apply it and when you're not.
Come on, y'all. Are you open to love and kindness or suspicious of it? And I'm going to go to the line. But before I do, I'm going to just tell you this. Now, I'm on both sides. Open to love, and there's some things you got to be suspicious of.
Right. That's why we say the balance.
The balance. Come on, let's go get the line. Hey, you're on with Cindy. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hi, this is Shannon. I'm calling from Allentown. What's up, Auntie and Uncle?
Hey, baby.
What's happening?
All right, so to answer the question, am I open to it or suspicious? I would say in my life now, I would say I'm more open to it. And I had to make a shift in my mind to be able to learn to accept it, because growing up in the urban neighborhood, you're always taught to be in survival mode, defense mode. And you're not always really taught how to love. Like, what does love look like? How to know when you're about to receive it in a positive way. So I just always had that guard up, and then I learned to understand that it's not what you get, it's what you expect. And now I just expect great love, and I set boundaries on what it looks like for me and how, I'm going to allow it to show up in my life. And if you can't get with it, you can't get with it.
There it is.
Thank you, baby.
Very much.
All right.
And get with that love. Get with it.
That's right.
All right, baby. Come on, y'all. We're talking about it. Are you open to love and kindness?
And sometimes love looks strange to
Yes.
people. There's a gentleman out there in social media, you may have heard of him, Vlad TV. And he was on with Godfrey.
I'm not playing with you.
Vlad TV.
Vlad.
Okay.
Yes.
And in watching him do an interview with Godfrey, he was speaking about the interview that he had done with Monique and I that had never aired at the behest of our attorney. But it was a great interview. Wish it could have, but based upon the agreement, could not have. But that's another story. But what he found intriguing was during the interview, my arm was around her. I mean, we were holding hands. And he felt that was odd.
Odd. Yes.
And it seemed as if, Godfrey seemed to, as he said, he heard it was the husband and all these other things. But the long and short of it was, when you're so not used to seeing a level of affection, especially when you're dealing with people that are of color. Because we have been taught we need to work, we need to survive, we need to be strong. We need to work, survive, be strong. So when you're doing all that, when you're going to take the time to love your woman, she love a man, and you look at her and you say, you understand that there's going to come a time where you won't be together because the universe is going to separate you due to what we that are here say is death. but it's just a transition.
And
So
doing good.
we are. But what happens is you hold on because you know that day's gonna come. You appreciate that person. So it is odd to those that may not have that situation, may not be used to seeing it. And what we, especially as people of color, but we're making up the world, people in the world need to do is be unafraid to be affectionate, especially to that individual that you said, this is a decision. We are together. Now I understand the level of suspicion with the new person that's coming in your life. But now y'all have made the decision to be together. At that point, you gotta leave it all on the field. That's when you say, we're gonna make a decision to believe in one another. Because when the world sends you home with its foot in your ass, that's when you have your significant other to help gently pull it out. That you put their, that's how you do it. You put their hand on their back,
You got me?
and then you grab their ankle, and then you take the foot out. Okay? But that's gonna come through saying, I love you unconditionally. And when you both believe that, that's when the magic happens. Now, when one believes it, or you just saying it and you don't believe it, then that's when you just going through the motions. But what I would ask, especially in our community, challenge yourself to really believe in putting it all on the line for the other person and them doing the same for you, so that there would be no need to be suspicious of the love and kindness, and it becomes an everyday occurrence, and you're literally loving for absolutely no other reason than that's the only way that you know how to communicate with one another.
You know, I can remember, because when you said put it all on the line for each other, and I can remember my mother saying to me, make sure you put something away for a rainy day. And I was like, well, you know what, Ma, if it rains, we're going to get wet together. And that was coming from a woman that had been married to a man, which was my father, for over, at this time, 40 years. And what that said to me was, you've never truly loved this man. Because if you're telling me to put something away for a rainy day, now you done had babies with this man. Did you put something away for a rainy day? And I was witness to, there were things that I would share with my mother financially that my father ain't no shit about.
Right.
And when he found out, he looked at my mother like, what?
What?
So I'm saying all that to say, I'm glad that I got to a place in my life and in my marriage and in my friendship to say, let me put it all on the line. Let me put this shit all on the line. And it allowed for an amazing life, y'all. For me. I ain't gonna speak for you.
Well, I'm right here with you.
Come on,
we
Dad.
doing the show.
So, are you open to love and kindness, or are you suspicious of it? Oh,
that's all right, man.
That's all
we just
right.
lost the call.
470-282-1802.
It's Siobhan McKay. She said that goes back to the survival way of being the Oriole of color we are conditioned to. It also goes back to trust.
Well, you know, I agree. And I think what a lot of the callers are saying, and what we're saying too, is a lot of our upbringing, when were we taught about love? When were we taught? Hey, you're on, Monique. It's in you. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hey, good morning. Well, good afternoon, probably where you are, Sister Mo and Uncle Phil. How y'all doing?
Wonderful, baby.
Good. My name is Elsie, and my handle is in Level Cosby East Coast Star. Been listening to you both just now this morning. I just want to thank you so much for bringing up this question and having the conversation. It's right on time.
we appreciate it. We appreciate the love. Anything you'd like to share from your perspective?
Absolutely. So the question was, I believe, are you open and receptive to love and kindness?
Yes.
Okay. So for me personally, I'm 46 in June, and what I've found out is that based on our initial relationship, or what I like to call the Genesis relationship, which means the mother and the father, who are our first gods, who we look to for food, shelter, clothing, and love as well, acceptance, they guide us. When those relationships are the ones that are in those roles in our lives, whether they come through grandmother, grandfather, or whoever that role is given to as our guardian, is unhealthy, or we experience something that is not of God or is not love, then we do tend to have a blueprint laid at that point, which we follow throughout our lives in our other relationships, albeit personal relationships with opposite sex or our mates, siblings, work, co-parent, anybody in our life, even our children, they can be limited when those relationships, those initial first relationships, are unhealthy. Now, when those foundations I found are laid properly, then I found that the opposite can be true. Me personally, I had unhealthy initial relationships, and I had to go back. I had had many relationships with men based on the first relationship being unhealthy, and I had to go back. I had to go back to the beginning of where they were started in an unhealthy way, and I had to fix some things. I had to fix some things within myself because I was holding back, because I wasn't being open. I was afraid. I was limited, and I didn't experience love in its full potentiality. And I also missed out on a lot of what God was trying to give to me, because God shows himself to us through other people. He's not coming down from the clouds anymore, and he's standing, and beating us in the bush like he did with Moses and all that stuff. That's not happening. He's coming to us through one another. And so I limited that. Now, the relationship that I'm in now, baby, we went through some stuff. We went through some stuff. But what I found, and I just told him this morning, and it's so interesting, I'm talking to you guys about this right now, this confirmation, was that when we sit in our truth, when we sit naked in front of each other, and when we said, hey, I see your mole, I see your dimples, I see, your cellulite, I see all your flaws, I see the areas that are imperfect, and I see the beauty in all of that. Then we were able to accept that and love each other where we were and move forward from there. And it could have gone the opposite way, but we both wanted what we wanted. And so we're moving forward. And it's a whole new thing. And I mean, it's that sweet, juicy, ooey, gooey love. And it's just tripping.
Come on now.
Tripping.
That's what's up.
It is, honey.
That's what's up.
It is. It is.
We love
It really
you, baby.
is.
Keep on doing that
Thanks.
gooey.
And thank you for calling.
Love you more, Mom. Y'all be well.
Thank you, baby. Come on now.
Where we going now?
That just made me smile.
That's right.
Because it's falling in love all over again. It's falling in love because you got the ego out the way.
Well, it sounded almost like falling in love for the first time, because what she was saying was we had to break it down to saying, I see this, I see that. I see what other people could construe as flaws, and I don't see them as that, but there's some things that we have to work through. And that kind of goes into, people talking about unconditional love, because the one thing we're not as people is perfect. I remember when Monique was pregnant with the twins, and there was some complications. So my bed was the chair over in the corner that I stayed in at night. And the next morning when I was leaving around 10 or 11 or so, some ladies, some friends of hers, came to visit, and they began to have sister talk, by the way, I don't think at any time were any of these women in a relationship at that time. Okay, I don't think old girl was married.
No.
Was she? Okay, one of them. All right. And one of the
one was married and one was engaged.
Okay. And one of the comments that one of the individuals made was, men, that's for sure. Men, they are not perfect. That is for sure.
Yes.
And I said, isn't that a blessing that men are not perfect? Because being that women are not perfect either, how would y'all handle someone who was? And they looked at me like, that's not gonna work. But they were these type of people or friends, and not really in the grand scheme, but at the end of the day,
not really friends in the grand scheme.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something else that you have to watch out for. The individuals that come into your life and the relationships that they have, and the effect that they can have, since we're on the topic of relationship.
Yes.
The effect that they can have on your relationship, because people that don't have the greatest relationships oftentimes can be negatively affect a relationship that is going positive. You know the friends that they bickering the whole time y'all together. They've been together for years, but they bicker. Y'all ain't never hung out, they bicker, it ain't right, it ain't that, but y'all still together. Why? Because don't nobody want y'all to.
But y'all too.
But y'all too.
Yes.
But y'all don't have a way and haven't found a way to find happiness and enjoyment with one another, which is the key. So I just was sharing that.
Well, baby, listen, that's what this show is. It's about sharing. Because sharing is what?
Caring.
There you go. We're going to the lines.
Baby, just best.
Hey, you on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this one you're calling from?
Oh my goodness. Miss Monique, this is Willie from Houston, Texas.
Hey, Willie from Houston, Texas.
How are you?
Wonderful, baby. How you doing? Talk to us.
Okay, I just wanted to touch in a little bit on the topic love. And what I've come to learn in my very small 36 years of life is sometimes when we are brought up without a healthy example of what love is, what it sounds like, what it looks like, we don't recognize that when we see it because we are closed. And sometimes the things and the circumstances that we go through in life shape us to expect the worst as a people in each other. And it takes a lot of courage to live and love boldly, to accept what love is. A lot of people think that love is just good feelings and good times, but love, by way of my child, has taught me that it is love and pain. And so with one thing, we must be open to the other. And once we get to that point to where we are open and understanding of what love is, we can receive it a lot more better and looking at it with inside eyes as opposed to the eyes of the world.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead.
No, I was saying there you go. Like you're hitting it right on the point.
Right on.
I mean, and it's not even just relationships, but just like that energy when I ran across you at the Arena Towers. You didn't know me. I didn't even know who you were getting out of your van. I felt your energy pulled me before I even visually recognized who you were. And when I responded without thinking with that inside energy and that inside love, it responded to you, the you inside, and not who you are, the representative, the person that we see. And so that's why it's so important to be present and in the moment, because we can miss the moment.
Come on, man.
We love you, baby.
I love you too. Keep doing your thing, king and queen.
Thank you, sis. Come on, y'all. We talking about it. Are you open to love and kindness, or are you suspicious of it? And like I said earlier, I'm I can be on both sides of it, Daddy.
It's understandable because there are times in which it is healthy for you to be on both sides.
Baby, being in this entertainment business, you be looking like you be cockeyed. Like, what did he just say? What?
Before you got into the entertainment business,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same dynamic.
You're right.
It's just very prevalent, obviously, in this business because of I've witnessed individuals, they queening her up. Oh, queen, oh, queen, oh, queen, oh, queen.
Come on, give me one more.
Queen.
Come here, yeah.
And then be there for the okie doke.
Yes.
Be there for the okie doke, trying to take advantage. And it's not because Will Packer's a bad person. No, it's not because he's a bad person. It's because there are ways in which I believe that people think that they need to navigate in order to get what they need to get done. Wow. And when we start, oftentimes someone said earlier, love should never hurt. But what happens is, love is not when you go to the club and everybody got money for drinks and y'all go out and party and then you go home. Then that's not love. Love can hurt sometimes, because what I appreciate and why I love my wife, Monique, beyond what people can see, because it's not just the treatment that I get from her, but it's the treatment that I watch her. The last comment about the individual that says, you didn't know me from anything. I get calls when she's on the road to when she comes home and she's telling me about the people that she met, to on that same almost Christmas set, having this black woman who I sent emails to, a cat named Will Packer, on behalf of the situation that was experienced with Monique, not because he was terrible per se in that moment to her, but because he was disrespectful to another black man who happened to be a director. And she says, as a producer, I'm not taking direction from you, sir. I'm only taking it from this director here. And as a black man, you shouldn't be doing that to another black man. Now, Brother Dave Talbot would never speak a word or say anything about it. But these are sometimes the problems that we have in society. And one may say that may hurt to hear that, if you will, but it's said out of love and kindness, because this is the reality of, we've got to learn how to treat ourselves better. We got to be bold enough and strong enough to say, hey, despite whatever people may say, sometimes we've got to stand up for other people when it doesn't affect us, because it's kind of like this coronavirus. You can laugh at somebody's situation today, not knowing that if you make the wrong move, you can get caught up too. So if we don't take measures to protect others, we can fall prey to the very things that we allow others and look the other way when it was happening to them.
This is the part for me, y'all, that makes me suspicious, but you don't want to be, because it's your folks. It's your folks. And that's the part for me that can be challenging, because when people would say to me in reference to Lee Daniels, well, why didn't you do this and why didn't you do that? That's my folk. That's my folk. So when my folks say this is what it is, hey, I trust you because you said this is what it is. And we hugging and we asking about the well-being of each other's families. So I'm not thinking for a second that I'm getting screwed over. Excuse my naivete, my vulnerability, But I'm looking like this is my people. That's my brother. So someone could say, you should have learned from dealing with Lee Daniels, and now here come Will Packer. And what I never wanted to do was judge one for the other.
That's right.
Never wanted to do that. And I remember Will Packer from the very beginning when Marilyn Hill asked could he come on the show, because no one was giving this young brother a chance. No one was giving him a chance. And
by chance, meaning allowing him to promote his film.
Yes. Right. No one was letting him on the show to promote his films. So Sis said, of course, let that brother come on through. So that's what we knew of him. So when he called for Almost Christmas, and we met at a little cafe, I don't remember the name of it.
Nor do I.
We met at a little cafe, and we're sitting at that table, and I'm believing I'm sitting across from our folk.
Queen, 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 queen.
Every other word was queen. Every other word was, we got to look out for our sister. I mean, when I play it back in hindsight, I was looking at it like, this is our brother, this is folk. He ain't got no reason to blow smoke. We're proud of this brother.
Come on.
So now to get on the set and experience the subpar conditions, to have trailers that were so bad they blew up, and when you have the guys that work there and we're saying we can smell gas and they saying we know, we told them that's what they gave us, and you looking at this black man like you supposed to be our folk, but everything you're giving us is low budget. The treatment is low budget. And I remember doing an interview, I forgot the publication, and they said to me, we spoke with the cast and all of them said, you were great to work with, but no one's willing to go on record.
In reference to?
In reference to what I was saying about the treatment. And I said, I understand that, and I have no ill feelings towards my brothers and sisters. People have their reasons for what they do. But I had to speak out about it because I'm believing I'm looking at folk. We believe when we looking at folk. So that's where the suspicion comes in, and it's so unfortunate because I don't ever want to look at my brother or sister with a flag of suspicion. Because I want to look at you like, that's my brother, that's my sister. Come on.
But in the words of Chuck D,
come on, every brother
ain't a brother because of color.
Come on.
Because when you can have a guy like Joaquin Phoenix stand up there and say, the treatment of people of color in this industry is horrendous, and to say how I'm a part of it. The man don't look like us. He don't have a dog in the fight. He don't get nothing extra for saying that.
Come on.
But you hear a cat named Tyler Perry. He offers Monique $500,000 because this is his way of saying, I am sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry for what I put out there in reference to you. And she says, no, I don't, you keep the $500,000. All I want you to do is come out publicly and apologize and clear my name. She hit him with the Tina Turner, the Ike. You go ahead, you keep all the masters, Ike. You keep all the money, Ike. You keep all of that, Ike. I just want my name back. Just tell him. But that brother can't do that. So with love and kindness, sometimes the love and kindness that we have to be receptive to is the love and kindness that we're going to give to ourselves by speaking the truth.
Yes.
And by hopefully believing that even with Will, with Oprah, with Tyler, for us, we want nothing but the best for them. Because what happens is, when the best really happens for them, that means a level of honesty is going to come into your life, where you refuse to play games, where you refuse to be afraid of stating the truth because it's going to make you look human, Brother Tyler. So we wish the best through love and kindness because they still our brothers. They still our sisters. Oprah's still our sister. But through that we have to be brave enough to have open and honest conversations. And amongst the Black community, part of the problem is we keep too many secrets.
Come on.
We move ahead, stay quiet. It's best you just keep on going. That's the slave's mentality. And what we need to do is break out of that and say to ourselves, before we can be open to being receptive of love and kindness from other people, we got to be open to be loving and kind to ourselves.
You know, I'm going to tell y'all something, because those are the words that got me through it. Those are the words that got me through it. So when we are still saying Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey and Will Packer and Lee Daniels, when we're still saying that, we're saying it out of love, because if I had to sit down and have some tea with any one of them, I would have said, listen, the moment I got honest with myself is the moment I got free. The moment I got honest with me, because there was some conversation sitting I had to have, baby. That shit was taking me to my knees. And he kept saying to me, is it the truth? And Doreen inside me wanted to say, fuck the truth, okay? That is hurting our feelings. But the real one inside of me had to say, yeah, it is the truth. And the more I dealt in it and dealt with it, it kept freeing me up and freeing me up and freeing me up. And I can still be challenged. Please understand what I'm saying. But when you get honest with yourself, and when I name those people, Tyler, Oprah, Will, Lee, you become to a place of, I'm powerful. Brother Steve Harvey, I'm powerful. So because I'm powerful, I don't have to deal with honesty. I don't have to deal with what's real. I don't have to deal with the consequences. Because when you do hear our sister Gail King say, I was advised, in reference to our baby Kobe, I was advised, just don't say nothing. Let it blow over. It'll go away. They'll drag you for a couple of weeks, then it'll go away. What kind of advice is that to give? And, Gail, who advised you to do that? Who would advise you to say nothing when you're wrong? That goes back to us talking about love and kindness, or are you suspicious of it? And what makes me say I'm suspicious of a woman that speaks about love and balance and all of these things, but that is not what you walk in when no one's looking.
Master classes.
That's not what you stand for. I'm suspicious of a woman that speaks of, I'm for women empowerment, I'm for women, but when no one's watching, is that really who you are? And this is being said out of love and kindness, because it helps our community when we really deal with it. When we really deal with it, to understand why we're so closed off.
And as we out there pursuing our work, trying to feed our family, and this is our community that we're talking to right now, understand having money and having wealth based upon the experience that we witnessed with the individuals we just spoke about, Tyler, Oprah, Lee. Being well off has nothing to do with being free. It has nothing to do with being free. Because when you're free enough to be who you actually are. You're free enough to say, I made a mistake, by saying to an individual or perpetuating a notion that you were difficult to deal with, when in actuality, anyone under normal circumstances who elected not to do a favor for somebody is well within their rights. Because what was being asked of Monique by Tyler, Oprah, Lionsgate was, would you be so kind as to deliver for us like you did for Lee Daniels Entertainment before he sold, or they sold the rights to Precious to Lionsgate? Would you do us a solid? And the answer was no. So now you're deemed difficult. So it's out of love and kindness that we share this with our people, to say that when you go and you are on your journey and you're dealing with those things, you got a choice to make. We're not going to tell you what the choice is. You can comply and let people take advantage of you, but understand, when you allow people to take advantage of you, what you're doing is you're conditioning them to believe that they can take advantage of others.
This is why I appreciate the show. Because someone would say, how does this go with love and kindness? Honesty goes with love and kindness. Honesty goes with it. And so many of us, again, we're too fearful to accept love and kindness. Ain't that a damn shame?
And just to answer Sister Roxbury, when she said, what if that's just their opinion, that they found you difficult to work with? That would be fair. But the only problem with that is Monique never worked with Tyler Perry throughout the whole process of Precious.
Nor Oprah Winfrey.
Nor Oprah Winfrey. They never worked together. They never interacted because the deal was done with Lionsgate and the people who owned the film. Her deal was with Lee Daniels Entertainment. So to say someone was difficult to work with, that you never interacted, if you were to ask anyone who worked on that movie Precious, they never saw Tyler or Oprah. The difficulty was trying to work her into doing something for free. And I'll say this and end it here. Sometimes the poor treatment of Black women is so blatant that when you hear it, you've got to rationalize it because you can't believe that someone would be that bold as to do something like that. And then I would lead you back to saying, remember, we came from slaves. So who would be so bold as to enslave a people, then give them freedom? Then they went from being enslaved where you work them for free. Now they're free, allegedly, and we're going to pay them the same thing we pay the white man and the white woman. Why would we do that when you came from nothing, if you will? So the poor treatment, all you got to do is look at your experiences in your life and see what you had. If all the lights have been green, that's beautiful. But no matter whether they're green or red, no matter if somebody creates an obstacle, no matter if they allow you to pass through easily, our advice humbly is deal with them with
love and kindness.
That's our time, my baby.
That's our time, Daddy.
Take us home.
Well, y'all listen. I really enjoyed the show today.
Absolutely.
Really did. And we appreciate each one of y'all because y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all said we're going to come spend some time with Mo and Sid. So we love y'all for that. So tell a friend, tell another friend, then tell 10 more friends
Come on.
to join us. Monique and Sydney's open relationship. We love y'all.
And remember, the mind is like a pair of shoes.
Oh.
It is no good
unless it's open. We love y'all.
For free.
Mwah. Bye, babies. We're having you back from the UK.